With that, I would like to move on and introduce my son, Joe, who's going to introduce the next act. Joe, come on up here, please.
Thank you, Dad, very much. Well, it's hard to follow that act, so I'm just going to go to the levity that I know so well. In 1987, I had the pleasure of going to Ireland for the first time. I was a young man, and I was under the capable guidance of Father Troy David Powers. The two of us went to Ireland for the first time, and we're traveling around. He was showing me all the sights, all the places that he knew, all the places where Monsignor Kavanagh used to visit. And when I was there, I met a whole host of characters, including the Right Reverend Oliver Marr, who you'll hear from in a few minutes. But most of all, what I remember the most from that trip is I met the family of Monsignor Kavanagh. I consider it a great privilege that I was able to meet his mother just 2 weeks before she passed away. I met his brothers, his sisters, and all of his cousins. And as I traveled, I listened to their stories. And I only knew Monsignor Kavanagh, obviously, in Sacramento, as a priest, and then later as a Monsignor. But he had this incredible life in Ireland. 22 years, whatever he spent there, it was almost a full life. He was a great sportsman, an amazing news runner. He got his nickname Bus, because he was 8 years old when he drove the bus to Dublin to pick up the newspapers. I found out all these stories. And then I got to think of being in Ireland and being sentimental and getting maudlin. The best thing that you can do in Ireland, the biggest tribute you can pay an Irishman, is to write a song about him. So many people have been written about in Irish history. They've written about greyhounds even. They've written about Michael Collins. They've written about rebel priests like Father Murphy. And I thought, what about writing a song about Monsignor Kavanagh? Not just his years in Ireland, but when he came to America. So 15 years ago, I can't believe it was 15 years ago, at Monsignor Kavanagh's 45th anniversary, you've had a lot of parties, Monsignor. They've all been good. My friend Mark and I wrote this song. And basically, it's just a tribute to Monsignor, enshrining him in Irish history, like all the other Irish greats. So please listen to a song called Father Eddie from Kilkenny. Now, there's one thing I got to tell you, just in case you don't know this. Monsignor's nickname, or the nickname of the team, was the Kilkenny Cats. That's the team he played for. So when you hear the term Cats, it'll all make sense. So it's my pleasure to introduce Mark Wellendorf, my good friend and very talented musician, to sing Father Eddie from Kilkenny to our dear friend, Monsignor Kavanagh.
Thank you. Haven't had a chance to do a sound check. Echoing, or is it? Can you hear me in the back? Okay. Why did you say no if you couldn't hear me? How about now? All right. In 1925, on a February night, as Ireland was recovering from a recent bloody fight, in the shadow of Cashel's Rock, the birthplace of kings, the locals talked of young Eddie and the joy that he'd bring. The Kavanaghs were famous in the south of Ireland. The family ran the coaches, a store and a newsstand. As Eddie started growing, all the lassies made a fuss about that handsome Kavanagh boy the locals all called Bus. And Eddie ran the buses, yes, Eddie ran the store, but it was on the local hurling pitch where Eddie always scored. In 1947 was St. Karen's holy blessing. Eddie and the Cats, they gave Cork a hurling lesson. It's Father Eddie from Kilkenny, the land of the cats. From the quiet streets of Urlingford to the bricks of old St. Pat's. In the pubs of Kilkenny they still talk about with joy the holy hurling, homily giving Kavanagh boy. Yes, he could have studied finance and been a businessman. He could have stayed in Urlingford and lent a helping hand. But a quiet voice inside him whispered a vocation to go in St. Matthew's words and make disciples of all nations. To the city of the sacraments is what the bishop said. To the capital of the Golden State, where Irish skin turns red. As he walked among the people, many races and traditions, and they filled St. Rose's church. To Father Eddie gave a listen. Then in 1965, the bishop called to say, Ed, I know you're busy 24 hours a day, but your flock, it keeps a-growing, and the sheep know only your call. So attach the red pipe in, Monsignor Kavanagh. Father Eddie from Kilkenny, the land of the cats. From the quiet streets of Urlingford to the bricks of old St. Pat's. In the pubs of Kilkenny they still talk about with joy the holy hurling, homily giving Kavanagh boy. I sometimes wonder if the man will ever tire, but the strength shines through in a voice that drowns out every choir. His energy even young priests look up to with awe. And we are all so fortunate to live in the days of Kavanagh. It's Father Eddie from Kilkenny, the land of the cats. From the quiet streets of Urlingford to the bricks of old St. Pat's. In the pubs of Kilkenny they still talk about with joy the holy hurling, homily giving Kavanagh boy. Yes, the holy hurling, homily giving Kavanagh boy. Your turn. Father Eddie from Kilkenny. Your turn. Father Eddie from Kilkenny. It's Father Eddie from Kilkenny. Father Eddie from Kilkenny. Thank you very much.
Mark Wellendorf, a lifelong friend, firefighter from Elk Grove, and a tremendous athlete in his own right from Christian Brothers at one time. Just a great, great guy. Thank you, Joe, very much for that wonderful introduction. Labor of love by Mark and Joe. Certainly was.